Alright, welcome to the Pixel Remaster Series. And the life of a dad is never easy, so I'm recording this post-commentary because it was hard to have a quiet environment when I was playing the game, but even now, as I'm recording this audio, my son is watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse to my left, so that's how it goes, funny enough. This is a fun part of this game. There are no class changes, there's like a class upgrade later on in the game, but whatever you select for your party is what you have. And a warrior or a fighter, I think they're called warriors on this game, they are a little bit broken. So I want to go different here. So I'm going with a thief, a monk, a black mage, and a white mage. Black mages are extremely messed up and not useful in the original version of the game due to a bug in the intelligence stat. So I would not recommend using a black mage at all. But they've kind of fixed that in here, and the black mage is pretty useful. They're not for quite the purpose that you would expect, but they're cool. I would say the red mage is probably my favorite class because of everything that they can do. They're very useful. I've run through this game so many times that I think I had 2 red mages on a run. They're just extremely versatile. And a fighter is the best choice to put in your first slot to deal a crazy amount of damage and also take a crazy amount of hits. So that's like a no-brainer. And then a white mage, I would almost say is necessary, but not really. If you had multiple red mages, you could probably get by with no white mage. I would like to try that out maybe sometime. But yeah. Here's a really cool epic intro. As far as naming my characters, I can't remember if... I know different times I've done this in different versions of this game. I think one of them being the Dawn of Souls version. If you press the auto name a character, it gives them names from other Final Fantasies. And I think that's what I came up with for Cyan, for the thief here. And also his hair is kind of cyan. And then once I did that, I just started thinking of colors. So cyan, azul, blanca, and noir, they're all slightly based on colors, you know what I mean? The Warriors of Light. They do stuff. They appear out of nowhere. It shows you things and stuff here. Oh, as you can tell, I was kind of like trying to figure out the controls the first time I turned this on. Good times. I think you gotta push start through this. Oh, I was figuring out the controller. That's what it was. Okay. Graphic display standard. I didn't even mess with that. Yeah, so this boost feature is something that they added to all of the Pixel remasters and also a lot of the other remakes and remasters of like Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to fully abuse it for this playthrough of the game for several reasons. One, I'm an adult, I'm a dad, I have a full-time job. I was in a band when I was recording this. I have like a lot of things going on, and so therefore I don't want this game to take a bunch of hours. I want to be able to get through it, and as you'll see, I'm able to plow through the game in under 5 hours, so yeah, it's pretty good. I feel like they made these weapons cost a lot more than they did in the... I'm sorry, a lot less than they did in the original. So something to keep in mind with wizards, or mages I should say, in your party is that they are going to be the most expensive to keep up with all the spells that you can buy. But it's extremely beneficial to stock up on the spells, and I'll explain what those spells do a little bit later. I can't say right off, but I don't think you start with 500 gil in the original game. I can't remember though. And as you can see, for each magic level, there's 4 spells, and your mages can only have 3, so you have a little bit of a decision to make. But that's one of the reasons that it is handy to be able to have like two red mages like I threw out there. It's handy. I forgot to equip the hammer. A white mage. So the guard is like, hey, you came out of nowhere and you have crystals. Come to the king because reasons. How about that? You have crystals. That's exciting. Your Majesty, we cannot be certain that they are doing stuff. Garland, huh? They straight up tell you that it's called the Chaos Shrine? I can't remember if it was called the Chaos Shrine originally. Oh, this version of this music is really good. So that's another thing you'll start to see is that the music remasters on here are like awesome. Yeah, this sounds really good. Like actual electric guitar? Yes, please. There we go. That first level up is huge. Okay, so the thief in the original game is very not good because speed and accuracy bonuses aren't really calculated properly, so it's just not beneficial at all to use. The thief in this version is very good. You're going to see he's going to start getting a crazy amount of critical hits in a little while. And then with the class change or upgrade or whatever you want to call it, it won't be too long before you see what happens there. He's going to become incredible. So with the boosts on, you can see that I'm leveling up incredibly fast, and this is something that I would recommend that you don't have this. You probably do want to spend some time leveling your characters up to maybe level 4 or 5 before you fight the boss here. Because it's going to be really hard if you don't. But it's probably doable. Rookie mistake not buying any potions. So yeah, I was pushing myself a little bit to the limits here trying to get through this place. Oh, yeah, no. Alright, so I'm trying to remember that this music here for the Chaos Shrine is the same music that they're going to use for the underwater level later. And I can't remember if it's just for those 2 places or what. I'll make note of it and see if it's the same. So here's what you need to know about the monk that's pretty interesting is the first time I played through the game, I had a monk in my party. They were called the Black Belt back then. And I just left the iron nunchucks equipped on him the entire game because I didn't know that once he got to a certain level, you could just take him off and let him be very fisted and dealt a crazy amount of damage. Because the game doesn't tell you that, and I was a kid. So I'm going to tell you now that as you get up to higher levels, you should check and see what will happen if you remove your monk's weapon and let him be bare-fisted. Also his armor. That changes as well. There's some armor that you definitely want to put on him for the sake of magic defense. I'll explain that later. Man, this music is so good. I'm probably going to say that a lot. Handy that I have a tent here, so I don't have to walk all the way back to town. Alright, here we go. The whole kingdom for the life of the daughter, huh? I, Garland, will knock you all down! Yes. Blink is incredibly useful. Here's the thing with this game, and I'm not sure if it's been revised, but when monsters attack you, 50% of the time they will attack the first slot, 25% of the time the second slot. And the remaining 25 is divided between 3 and 4, meaning that there's only like a 12.5% chance for them to attack the 2 mages in this instance. So that's tricky because this would plan out a little bit what's going on. But in the event that you are expecting them to attack the first slot and they attack 3 or 4, then you're in big trouble. And then of course later they'll cast spells that hit everybody, so yeah, it's just good to buff everybody and use protective spells and stuff. One thing you need to know about Final Fantasy is that buffs are your friend, big time. Big time your friend. There's no doubt. You should hear the prophecy in its entirety. No, I don't want to hear the prophecy. I'm gonna sing with this song to make sure I can sync up the audio. So basically we're saving the world. It's always fun. So we have to find the 4 crystals. With our shards. They had orbs or something in the original. I don't remember. So there's a loot. It's useful for something. I don't know. By the way, I want to say that I played this and recorded this episode on January 30th, which is close to my birthday, and it is now June the 14th that I'm recording this audio. Just want to throw that out there. Having a very full schedule and trying to make stuff happen, yeah, it can be tricky. So one of my favorite things about these RPG games is being able to explore and find stuff, but at the same time, exploration can be a major pain when you're in an area with a super high encounter rate, and it just interrupts the flow of trying to explore and find stuff. And then also if you're digging the music like I do, and then encounters keep interrupting the awesome music, that can be annoying as well. So I like being able to turn off the encounters and just explore. Just do it. And then to make up for the fact that you're not having as many encounters, you're going to be under leveled, you can boost the experience in the guild up to quadruple, 4 times what they normally are. I think this makes for a great game experience, because I was able to kind of crank through this game. What does this bridge have to do with the prophecy? Things and stuff. Rivers of light are gonna do things. So here is the first of one very long prelude kind of thing. Oh, way to block my progress right before I get to the bridge. Thanks, game. Appreciate it. Wait, did the game heal up my characters without me going to the end? I don't remember. That's interesting. So as you can see, you can face parties of up to 9. This is when the Black Mage is incredibly useful because some of the spells target all the enemies and do the same amount of damage, actually, no matter how many you're fighting. So, it's handy though. Here we go. It's time to take a quick nap, bathroom break, get some popcorn, change the kids' diaper. I definitely know about that. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess the point of this scrolling really slow is maybe they got inspiration from Star Wars. But Star Wars, it wasn't this painful to watch. I have to read through this. No, I'm not read through this. I'm not read through this. I'm gonna take a nap. Okay, I'm awake. Let's do this. Oh, you see, I got the first of my achievements down in the bottom right there. Maybe it was the first one, I can't remember. Yeah, those are wolves, bud. Part of me is concerned that I'm going to try to sync up this audio with the video. Something's going to glitch, skip, and be out of sync, but we'll see. So, my party being level 8 at this point is actually really good. Making it to the second town took an eternity in the original game because of all the stuff. Anyways, here's another decision to make. I know that Temper is one of the most useful spells in the entire game, and I'm not sure about Dark, but definitely gonna get slow. Spoilers, I don't use slow at all the entire game. So if you're a little bit smarter than me, you can plan this out. I'm just trying to buy spells. Like here, oh, I did equip a hammer on my white mage. It would have been useful earlier. Gotta get some armor and stuff before I go fight the pirates. Look, I can't use chainmail or iron armor on any of my characters. I can use leather gloves on all of them, however, which is extremely useful. as of right now, the nunchuck is still better. I guess the game here was telling me that leather gloves aren't as good as being bare-fisted for my monk. I'm not really sure. Give me some white magic. So the null spells are incredibly useful, but I don't make full use of them in this playthrough. Because about the time I decide to start using them, it is when I have some equipment that really protects against that stuff. So this would be a great battle to have multi-targeting spells on the Black Mage, but yeah, I don't have that. Well, slow, but that doesn't, hurt them. But that's something that's pretty useful. Here's the pitfall of auto battle. Is using slow again. That was totally unnecessary. Quickly go into stuff. Scimitars and rapiers and stuff are equipable by the red mage and the warrior and the thief. The red mage can equip a decent amount of shields and armor as well, which the black mage and the white mage cannot. And the red mage can use black and white magic. So we're talking about they created a class that has a better equipment draw than both mages and can use the spells of both mages. But they, the only place that they really lack is in their HP. Yeah, their HP is a little low, and then their intelligence is, is slightly lower as well. But attack spells are not the greatest in this game to begin with, so I wouldn't really worry about that. If you have red mages on a party, you'll see that they're pretty incredible. You'll see a little bit later that the monk gets kind of ridiculous. And they're also the cheapest class to keep up with the equipment of because, yeah, I can't believe nobody killed mine. Time to go heal. I think at this point I had not realized that pushing in the right stick on my controller would turn off the encounters. Oh, by the way, I should mention I'm playing this on Steam on a PC. It's not a gaming PC by any means, but I know that it can keep up with these kind of games. And I'm using an Xbox 360 controller with a wired, wired plug. So, yeah, handy for this kind of stuff. I don't know why I didn't turn off the encounters at this point. So, you get to just watch me fight these guys. Hooray! Fighting in the original game is kind of painful because what you're witnessing right now is sped up with an auto battle, and it still feels like it's taking too long. Because you gotta watch. Just watch them do their thing, you know what I mean? So we're about halfway into this. There we go. That was much better. Okay, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about this. The original Final Fantasy game that I ever played was labeled Final Fantasy II for Super Nintendo when I found it when I was a kid. I later found out that that game was actually Final Fantasy IV. It was mislabeled and released in America. You can look that up. So that was the first one I played. I rented it, and then went back to it again later, did it again, and I eventually beat the game, but I don't know if I beat it by renting it or if I had to purchase the game later. But since then, Final Fantasy IV particularly, I have played on Super NES, Game Boy Advance, 3DS, phone, PSP, and maybe all of them. And soon to come, I'm going to play the Pixel Remaster, so that's pretty fun. But Final Fantasy IV is one of those games that I can say that the 3D remake of it is actually incredible and better than the original in a lot of ways. It's just not like a faithful remake to the original and all of the I don't know, the way that I don't even know the words right now. The equipment draw and the way that arrows work and the characters that you can use and all of that are slightly altered. You can get new abilities, you can't equip Cecil, whatever you want to call him, with a bow in the 3D remake, so just understand that there's quite a few different little interesting changes. I say that to say that I have no problem with playing both the 3D remake and the Pixel Remaster because I really love that game. I think I was trying to decide between Hold and Fokara here. But those are not spells that I usually use at all anyway, so... Null Blaze and Heal are much more useful than Diara, but if you have a red mage, you can probably afford to get Diara for your white mage here and put Null Blaze or Cura on your red mage. So if I remember right, the red mages can't learn the heal spells or the Dia spells. So that's just something to keep in mind. How about that? I have on 4 times the gold, and I've already run out of money, so isn't that fun? The original version of this game for the NES I played and grinded money until I could afford the Mithril Sword, which was at the weapon shop. I don't think it's there anymore, but it was like 4,000 gold and it took me forever and a day, but I was a kid and you know I could afford to do stuff like that. See the armlets there? Those are used in place of body armor for like mage type characters or even a monk. Yeah, and they're pretty useful. Some of the later armlets are very good, including a diamond armlet that you'll see me find. I can't remember if there's only one of those or what. Dude, what are you doing? Watching myself play this, I'm like, you have no money. Oh yeah, ethers. So, I can't remember if the original version of this game had ethers that you could find in stores, but for 150 gil, and they restore 1 MP per level. That kind of, I don't know, that's huge, because most of these Final Fantasy games, as you'll see, either you can't find ethers in stores at all, or by the time you do find them, they're like 5,000 gil or something like that. So if you want to buy 20 of them, you're broke. Or they're in-game, and that's just something to go dump all of your money into, and you don't need to buy anything else. This game, they're actually usable, and incredibly useful, because mages can't really do much with their physical attacks at all. Finally saved it for the first time. Don't worry guys, I think I'm going to turn off the encounters after I get to the Marsh Cave at some point around there. So if I just level grind here and realize it, then you're going to see some fast forwarding. I'll let you know. Still got 21 more minutes of this first episode. I was trying to knock it out as quick as I could, you know what I mean? Look at that, my black mage pulling his weight. This is about the only time the Black Mage is going to be useful like that. Later on, his best weapon is the Cat Claw, and as you'll see kind of late in the game, his crit rate can be pretty okay with it, and some really weak monsters he can take out, like these. But to actually be able to pull his weight like this is incredible, in my opinion. I think this is where Final Fantasy games could use a little bit of balancing, and being able to make mages useful when they're not using their spells, or to be able to use their spells more often, because if you just go through a dungeon willy-nilly using your spells, you're going to run out of MP. That's how it works in Final Fantasy. So that's where the Ether is being affordable on this game and useful. And then some of the remakes of this game, like the 10th anniversary one and the Dawn of Souls, have MP rather than spell charges, and that's even more useful. Because, I don't know, you use your sword 50 MP or something, it's kind of crazy. It's super useful. Apologies making you sit through all these battles. I'm having fun with these battles myself now. I did not get Poison. But do I have it? I do not have that either. Oh, me naming my thief Cyan is cool right now, but it becomes ironic later. You'll see why. I'm having a great time right now. Run away! So yeah, this is before I figured out how to turn off the counters quickly. Alright, I think we're about to go fast forward. one of the upper armlets. I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, check it out. Every point of defense in the game is critical. So I already know that's going to be the death of me if I open this. Or maybe I'll get lucky. We're going to find out. Sure, this is going to be bad. Casted. So yeah, that's how this game treats you. Isn't that fun? That's the key for a whole bunch of this here. By this point, I learned that cottages don't bring you back to life. That's always fun. So I loaded it back. So one thing you'll see is it can be extremely beneficial to make multiple trips over to the Marsh Cave, especially in the original versions of the game. I don't remember if I come to the realization here or not, but it probably would be best to just drop all of your money on ethers and potions and stuff. I mean, spending money on haste is useful as well. So haste does not make you get your turn faster because this game has no ATB. And it also doesn't give you any extra turns. It doubles the amount of attacks you do. Because in battle, when you attack, it calculates a number of attacks per attack. I know that's weird and confusing, but essentially we're talking like double damage. out how to roll this. And this is probably the right play. We'll see. I think Thundara would be the best bet to use on these guys. These guys just have high speed or something. So I'll take a turn before I get going. This is kind of almost like a boss battle in my opinion. Thundara is probably better, but I'm not sure, honestly. You see how much Miz helped out there? Oops. That's okay. Sound doesn't matter anyways. Guess what? Noir will be behind all of us for the entire rest of the run. Well, there's where I learned about the encounters on and off. That's pretty handy, huh? You can pause and return to field. Is that legit? So what's the point of... No, surely that's not getting rid of the point of the exit spell, right? So, it's crazy if it is, because I didn't use it for this whole run. So there you go. Not sure why I turned the encounters back on, but... Oh, Lightning is pulling his weight. Alright, this is to be continued here in just a moment. Until the next episode, I greatly appreciate you watching.